Hello guys, today I have unique opportunity to talk with my friend Jim. Jim is a YouTuber, yeah. He has silver button and he is traveler YouTuber, yeah. His channel about traveling. So, how many countries did you visit?
I haven't counted actually.
About 50 maybe. Oh.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I've been traveling for 6 years, pretty much full time, and of course I traveled quite a bit before that too. So I've been to a lot of countries, but I stopped counting.
What do you do first when you arrive to a new country?
Usually, since I'm doing videos about cost of living and personality profiles, my work usually starts before I get there. I usually research, kind of try to identify what areas I want to be in, what activities I want to see, and what is the best place that I think I would like to live. Then I usually rent a place for maybe 3 days to a week in the area that I think that I want to be. Then during that time I book a long-term place, make sure I like it, and a lot of times at that point I'll book something for a month. And so that's kind of how I ease my way into a place. And then usually the first week I just walk everywhere, walk up and down every street, walk to all the places that I think are good restaurants, you know, and try to figure out that side of things. Start my interviews with other people that have lived there for a while so that I get an idea from their point of view, not just what I think. And then I usually do from my research and then firsthand experience of other people and then my experience from the time that I'm there.
Yeah, you just predicted my next question, how you explore new places. Yeah, and maybe you asking some taxi drivers or how you make your research on when you already arrived in a country.
Well, once I arrive, a lot of it comes from, first of all, probably Google recommendations, just looking on the map, looking at places that are rated high, reading reviews, trying to find, you know, healthy food or, you know, different types of things like that. But I usually try to probably look at that for the first set. Then the second thing is a lot of times I'll ask the other expats, you know, that, you know, like you've shown me several places here I didn't know, and I've been here several times before. But, you know, and then also trying to find different opinions, because where you like being, you know, from where you're from and what your budget is going to be different than if I talk to somebody who's an American or French or something else and comes here with, you know, $4,000 a month to spend. You know, they're going to have a totally different feel of what is good. And usually I try to hit several different things. I try to usually hit something that's really a low budget, somewhere around a retirement, U.S. retirement, $1,400 a month or below. Then I try to hit somebody around the $2,000 mark, and then maybe I'll hit a few places that are kind of high end, you know, special occasions, or if somebody's affluent, then maybe that's what they like.
Yeah, my budget here is $700, and now I hope it will be about 500. So I'm really on a budget. I'm
really
my belt,
tighten it up.
Yeah.
So that's really good, and it is doable. But obviously, you're going to those places that you can eat for, you know, 100 pesos.
Yeah, $1, $2. Yeah, it's enough.
And you can get by. If you got the money, you know, you pick up a cappuccino or a fresh shake, you know, and you can up it a little bit. But you know, you go get a steak from Australia and it's going to cost you a bit.
Yeah, sure. You have been in so many countries. Why you still coming here in the Philippines and in the Dumaguete?
The Philippines, I love the people in the Philippines. It's easy to make friends. And you know, I'll go to a place and the second week I'm there, you know, I know so many people and I'm treated so well. And I think also being a YouTuber, a lot of people don't realize that they really look at that here as almost a star. YouTube is their TV. So when often as a YouTuber, you're treated kind of like a celebrity. You get special treatment, you get introduced to the mayor, you know, different things happen that just would not happen, you know, back in the United States.
Yeah, I just cannot imagine one 200,000 people. I cannot just imagine it here.
Uh-huh.
It's a huge crowd.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they all subscribed on your channel and they watched you. So yeah, just imagine you speak with all these people. For me, it's amazing.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, when you said how do I get to know a place, I also get to know the people, like the doorman or the person that's, you know, where I drop my laundry off.
Yeah.
And like a doorman, often they'll know a lot of good places to eat. And a lot of times I have to say, no, where do you go? Because they'll tell me the popular places they think I'll like.
Yeah.
But I want to know where you go.
Yeah.
And
To see like real life, yeah?
Yeah.
People, local.
and that's where I find a lot of really great places is by the people that are in the support staff at the hotel or the Airbnb or the doorman or something like that, and I get their recommendations, and or the taxi driver. Sometimes they'll say, oh, I know a good place, you know, and they'll take me to some place that's 200 pesos and great. So that's where I get a lot of tips also.
Do you feel yourself famous? Like when you're traveling, people
I-
recognize you on
Oh yeah,
streets?
that happens,
Yeah.
especially if I've been somewhere for a while. You know, like you said, 100,000 subscribers is a lot, you know, but not worldwide. You know, 100,000 people spread across
Yeah.
the world is pretty tiny. But after I've been in one location for a while and I've done several videos in that area, a lot of times then a lot of people hear about it, share about it, know about it, and then a lot of times I do get recognized. You know, I do get people that say, you know,
Do you like it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And but I've been out shooting before and had somebody like drive by and then turn around and they say, "Oh, are you living overseas?" You know, so you know, I'm kind of tall and thin and curly hair, so I'm probably more recognizable
Yeah.
a lot of times, and I'm a head taller than everybody here.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
so they can see me from a long ways away.
You know, many people feel themselves like not so confident or not so comfortable when they know that someone can know them, so they kind of closing themselves. How do you think? About you
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah, no, I've had that happen before because I've been on air and television, other places where I got big enough that I got recognized, and you know, so I have had that experience before. In general, it doesn't affect me too much, but you know, I was in Puerto Vallarta at the height of the pandemic. And I got comments back like, I saw him in town not wearing a mask. He's,
Oh.
you know, gonna
Yeah,
make
yeah.
everybody sick. And then the next person, I saw him wearing a mask, a fool. You know, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, it's,
Yeah.
and, you know, I try to obey whatever the local rules are. You know, as a YouTuber, you can actually get deported or in
Yeah,
trouble, you know, if you don't follow rules on camera.
True.
And, you know, in the United States, that's, you know, people don't realize it, but in Thailand, they put people in jail all the time for stuff they do on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard
You
a
know,
lot of cases. Yeah.
Yeah, and here too.
Yeah. Now
So-
we have the same in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to be very careful, and I always obey the rules. I always state what the rules are. I take no opinion on what people want to do, but you know, so yeah, a lot of times I am conscious about knowing that somebody can see me, they can make comments, they can make an opinion on me, but I don't, it doesn't change too much.
Whom you admire most? What person is inspiring you? Yeah. Like, do you have some kind of?
Yeah, you know, there's always somebody different. I admire, you know, if I was going to pick out a director, I might say somebody like Steven Spielberg, just because he's great at his craft. But he also tries to make movies that inspire somebody, you know,
Yeah.
that puts out a message, you know, in one way or another to try to make the world a better place. So I try to do, you know, even in my videos, the reason I started doing cost of living guides and profiles about other places is I know a lot of people in the United States have not saved enough money to retire comfortably. And I'm just trying to say, hey, there's another option out there. Maybe you got a great life somewhere else. And I try to show specifically what the good things are. I don't usually try to get into negatives too much. There's good and bad everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's true.
But I try to highlight what's good about a place and show what it costs, and maybe somebody will say, hey, I'll try that out, maybe it's for me.
Yeah,
You know.
I totally understand you because I try to do the same. I know that world is not perfect, but I trying to experience the world in a positive way, yeah, like positive lifestyle. So I'm in my life don't focus on the negative sides. So that's why I don't record it. I really try and not pay attention on. I don't know. You can see in the Philippines a lot of poor people. Yeah, if you show them, can you change their life? I think no. So you only like complaining. But if you have some kind of advice or decision, or you can inspire someone to help others, yeah, it's good.
And the other thing I see is you might see those people that appear poor, but then you start looking and you say they got really happy lives. And then you got to readjust and say, okay, I'm looking at it from my filter, and I'm saying they don't have much, but they have everything they want.
Yeah.
And you know, you meet some of those fishermen, they don't want to do anything else. You know, they
just have a happy life.
They have a happy life. Why? You know, their belly's full. They're having a good time.
Yeah. They have friends, family. I don't know. Happiness, it's not about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need money to live. You need money to feed yourself and your family, but you don't need money to feel happiness inside. I know so many sad and depressed people from Moscow. They are so rich, much more rich than anyone I can meet here. But yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I used to have a big house with a lot of stuff. Now I've got a lot of experiences. And you know, when I go back, I've still got some stuff in a storage unit. I haven't seen it in 6 years. And you know, it might be like art or, you know, family heirlooms or something I don't want to get rid of, but for the most part, you know, I don't care about them anymore. Everything I do now is more about my experience, my friendships, you know, that I'm collecting on the way.
What do you think the main reason of success of your channel? What is the difference between you and so many people who even cannot monetize their channel?
I think that there's so many ways to monetize a channel on YouTube, and I come from a professional video background. That was what I've been doing for my whole career. So I've got an advantage over a lot of people because I know how to photograph, I know how to get good audio, you know, so I know how to color correct footage. So I take a lot of time in putting my information together. I try to make as accurate information as I can, as concise as I can, so that it doesn't waste somebody's time. They can sit down and try to really get an idea about something.
Yeah, I think this one is important, that you preparing more than others, that you try more, that you really work hard on your videos. It's not like you record your soup and post it, yeah, it's my soup. Yeah, you make a story, make an idea, effort, so yeah, I think this one.
And I try to take time to find good interviews, find somebody that I find is interesting. A lot of my channel also represents kind of the places I want to go, the places I like.
Jim, can you tell your scary story from your traveling?
I can tell you, I've got a few very interesting stories. I'll give you one scary story, but for the most part, I would say don't be afraid to travel, because most of my scary stuff is back when I was very daring and young and did crazier things. And probably one time I was in San Jose, Costa Rica, back when it's still a pretty rough place, and my buddy and I had a meeting the next day, so we were staying in the downtown area, and we went out just to see what was kind of going on, to grab a beer or something like that. And we ended up being on a street that was probably not where we were supposed to be, and three guys started following us, and they were kind of like tracking behind us on the opposite side of the street, and we're going, oh, how do we get back to where we're supposed to be now? And all the streets were going the wrong direction, and they were definitely following us and looked very rough. And after a couple of minutes, and they're kind of getting a little closer, and my buddy speaks good Spanish, he turned around, walked over to him, and he said, hey, do you guys know where to get a beer around here? you know, if you show us where we can get a beer, I'll buy you a beer.
Oh.
And so,
Cool strategy.
you know, yeah, you know, you're kind of looking us up and down. I can see them. Oh, okay, we'll show you.
Yeah.
And you know, so we went over to the bar. First of all, we were thinking, okay, this is going to be better or worse. Maybe it's all their bad friends also or something. But we go in, we buy them a beer. They end up buying us a beer, playing a little bit of pool. And you know, at the end of the night, it's like, you know, oh, good meeting you guys.
Yeah.
And it ended up being fine. So, you know, that could have been a bad situation. But first of all, we got ourselves into an area we should have been in to begin with, and we knew the area was bad, but
You just took a risk.
we were just checking it out because we were bored and young and dumb.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I grew up in not so good environment in Moscow. It wasn't so safe back to 1990s. Yeah, and I grew with the people who robbed others, so I know them in a person, and I know their mentality. When they see like you acting like you equal with them, they respect you. And if you show that you afraid of them or some kind of weakness, you're done.
Yeah.
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 So it's a really smart trick.
It worked that time.
Yeah. Do you feel yourself lonely during solo traveling?
I think the first time you're going to do solo travel, I think everybody's worried about the loneliness, but I would highly recommend everybody to try it at least once in their life, because first of all, you are going to have some time where you kind of start thinking about things and thinking about what really makes you happy in life and being a little introspective. But then the other thing that happens is there's kind of a magic in being solo. When you're out somewhere, you're going to meet people. People are going to come up to you and see you're traveling solo also. You're going to share a meal. You'll get seated at a table with some other people because there's an open seat there, or somebody will come and say, hey, can I join you?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to end up having people say, hey, we're looking for another person for the snorkeling trip if you want to join. Magic things happen. You meet a lot of friends. Just stuff happens that'll never happen if you're traveling with another person.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it really can be enjoyable, and now I don't think anything of it at all. You know, a lot of times I'll be somewhere and I'll just decide, oh, we'll go, you know, you want to go to Thailand? Sure, I'll go. You know, I'll go buy a ticket and go, you know, or, you know, go for a visit for motorbike renting, you know, for exploring for a week or something like that. So amazing things happen when you're traveling solo.
Yeah, it's cool. I totally understand what you mean, because I came here alone in a new country. I didn't know anyone here, and yeah, world it's not so scary place. It's a friendly place.
It is.
So there is nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, just try to do it. What is the most unexpected thing that you learn from another culture? Your like culture shock?
I think that because I've traveled a lot, and watched a lot of documentaries, I'm fairly I have a lot of
high expertise. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of I kind of know what to expect. But I would say probably one of the biggest things is that seeing things from the point of view of the local people. It's easy for us to go in and see something and look at it the way we would look at it.
Yeah.
You know, these people are, you know, look really poor, you know, because they don't have much.
Yeah.
You know, because in the United States we have a lot of stuff, you know, but you look at them longer, you spend time with them, and you realize they have amazing, fun, fulfilling lives. And they're content and happy with what they've got. Their bellies are full.
Yeah.
They fish when they want to fish. You know, they meet up with friends and play basketball or share a beer when they have the money and don't when they don't. You know, and they're happy. And I think a lot of times you can see things and discover things because you get to see things from the way that they see things, and you learn new stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because you know, many Russians, they prefer to spend time with other Russians. That's why 3 destinations is so popular, like Turkey, like Egypt, and like Thailand, because many Russians think like that there is a lot of Russians. I can go there. It's cool. I will hang out with Russians. But for me, it's much more interesting to learn new culture because when I lived back to Moscow, there are really few foreigners there. It's not impossible to meet foreigner, but it's really hard. And when I live here, I meet foreigners from all over the world, and I talk with different people, and you're trying to wear their experience on you, so you see world a little bit in a different angle. Yeah. Yeah. So I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It's cool. Jim, have you ever experienced like discrimination or Nazism in other countries?
Not really. You know, I think, you know, I would say there's just times where people will look at me and they'll ask me for money or something like that because they have the, you know, they see you as a white foreigner from somewhere else, and they assume that you're got money and you can afford to, and maybe you do have a lot of money compared to the local people. And I just try to keep reminding myself I'm fortunate, and be patient if a lot of people are asking for handouts. But also I see a lot of people like the guy we saw earlier today that was selling a lot of stuff and carrying it around, and I think there's somebody working hard trying to make a living to support their family, and even though I didn't want any of his stuff, you know, I really respect the fact that he's working hard and trying to make a living. You know, and I've even bought stuff before and then given it away for, you know, because just to help out and put a little bit of money in the economy and give somebody something that, you know, trying to work hard. But as far as discrimination, not really too much. And I think sometimes too we might think of like, oh, people don't like Americans here, or they don't like Russians or something like that. The thing I find a lot of times is that people recognize that a lot of times actions are by governments, not people. And you know, you go somewhere, and I'm often treated very nice, and you know, almost everywhere I go, I feel, you know, have a good time.
You know, and here I meet first time in my life like the opposite of discrimination foreigners. They respect foreigners. They interested in your story, in your life. Even me being Russian nowadays, I never experienced some kind of discrimination or so
Inventory, I surrendered. The only one got the charming.
But so
soldier from Mindanao.
Solomon. I don't know what he said. But he was happy.
Yeah, he was happy. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Jim, for this discussion.
Thank you.
It was really my pleasure to talk with you and to have this opportunity. So guys, check out his channel about living overseas TV. Yeah, living overseas TV, about traveling, about budget, about stories from other people from different cultures. Yeah, he has a lot of good videos and high quality of videos. So you can at the same time learn how to record, how to make your own videos, even you're recording for your family or your friends. You can make it more interesting and enjoyable. So thank you for watching, and I see you in next videos. Bye.